Everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we start, I'll please everybody turn your phones to silent. We don't have any interruptions. Diana, please take roll call.
Matthew Thureson.
Present.
Asa Corrales. Present. Fafia Obabi. Present. James Torres.
Present.
Thomas Guerra.
Present.
Crystal Figueroa. Present. Matthew Jakes.
Here.
Pierce Mott.
Present.
Sharon Brower.
Here.
Bombas Savali.
Present.
Janaya Vanover. Present. Holly Beth Caspians. Present. April Daniel. Present. Lee Lucy Hu.
She's absent.
Frank Costello.
Present.
Kristen Schumann. Dr. Valerie Andrus. Arthur Petrie.
Present.
Darcy Dubois.
At this moment, I'd like to hand the floor over to Matthew Thureson, President. Officer's announcements.
Hello everyone, good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight for our special election and in addition to our Parliament meeting directly to follow. There'll be a little bit of a recess in between. It's good to see all of you tonight and I wish the best of luck to all of the candidates. With that said, can I have a motion to validate our proxies and leaves for tonight's meeting? First by James Torres, second by Sharon Bauer.
All right, I have a leave Miss B, Lucy Hu.
Yep.
She's absent because she has to take care of some business.
Thank you. I'd like to now yield over to the candidates for tonight for secretary. And I'd like to start with Matthew Jakes, who will make a speech.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. For anyone who does not know me, my name is Matthew Jakes, and I am a member of the junior class here at Brown College. I am majoring in finance and minoring in management. I am standing up here before you tonight in hopes of being elected secretary of the Executive Council on our student government. I have been an active member since last semester, and during that time, I have been helping recruit new members to our government. I also currently serve on the Finance Committee, Bylaws, and will serve on the Student Organization Committee. You may ask what previous experience I may have. During high school, I served as vice president of my senior class and was an active participant of my school's student council throughout my 4 years. In that time, many of my duties consisted of planning fundraisers, events, dances, and pep rallies. I was also on my high school track team and was part of the accounting and finance program at my school. Through my experiences, I've learned to practice and advance my interpersonal skills and management abilities. If I have the honor of being elected secretary here, there are multiple ideas I plan to bring to the table. For starters, I plan to bring back roundtable meetings. I believe this is not only important, but essential to hear all the concerns and requests they may have in order to better support our clubs and organizations here on campus. As chair of the Student Organization Committee, we will work to review the new and existing constitutions. We will also look to create a good and enjoyable holiday party and student organization award ceremony. I also look forward to working with all the members of our government to encourage more students to be active at our meetings and on campus in general. In closing, I would consider it a great privilege to serve as our student community government secretary. After all, we are here to give our student body on campus a voice, and it's our jobs to serve each of them to the best of our abilities. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. At this point, I'd like to yield the floor over to April for her remarks.
Okay. Hello, student government body, and good evening. I would like to start with saying that I'm excited to be here tonight and to be running in this election. I know that I'm new to this organization, but I feel like I am up to the challenge of taking on the job as secretary. I have done previous work like this before when I was working in city or under course. I was one of the group leaders. I ran two daily meetings, morning and night. I ran weekly meetings and also monthly meetings. I worked hand in hand with the principal done our own lesson plans, but we also did after-school activities with the kids. So we did after-school activities with them as well, so they would come and they would see what we did and what we've been working on with the kids. And parents really enjoyed it, the kids enjoyed it. It was a very fun event. We had, sometimes we had movie days where I organized with cafeteria for some popcorn, and we had our own popcorn machine. We just didn't have any popcorn, so they would give us the popcorn and we'd make little bags for all the little children. So I'm used to organizing events and I'm used to working with powerful people. So I have the background to do this before. I've worked with important boards and staff committees before. I am a psychology major. I also have 2 minors, one in neuroscience and one in history. I am also vice president of the psychology club. And I just think that it would be a really cool job to do. And I want to say thank you for your time and good luck to my other competitors.
Thank you, April. I felt like Zoom for a second where there was the buffer and then everyone started to thank you, April. At this point, I'll yield it over to our final candidate for the night, so it's Frank Costello.
Thank you, Matt. Good evening, everyone. My name is Frank Costello. I'm a psychology major. I just transferred here to Rhode Island College for Massachusetts Maritime Academy. I spent 2 years there, and I'm repeating my sophomore year now, unfortunately. But during my time there, I learned a lot of great skills that I think would be applicable to the position of secretary, such as time management and communication skills. It was a difficult environment. If you're not familiar with it, it's like a quasi-military academy. I wore a uniform. I did physical, like fitness, all those military things. And an interesting fact about me is that I'm a trumpet player, so at Mass Maritime, I would wake up the entire student body in the morning during morning formation, and I'd put them to bed at night at 10 p.m. with taps. So that's a little funny thing, and I was known for that there. But I think that the experiences that I had at Mass Maritime Academy and before as an Eagle Scout and leader in my troop, my Boy Scout troop, would serve me well as your secretary, and I hope that you would consider me for that position. Thank you.
At this point, we'll move on to balloting for. Oh, sorry. Are there any writing candidates for secretary? Are there any writing candidates? Going twice, going 3 times. Any writing candidates for secretary? At this point, we'd like to move on to balloting for secretary. So members of the Elections Commission will be coming around to distribute and then collect your ballots. Oh, yes. Please write number 1 on top. That stands for the round of voting that we're currently in.
Anybody need a pen? Oh, sorry. I'm just trying to say one word.
I hope that you would.
No, it's okay.
Just making it easy for us.
This is just all I'm thinking of it.
All in favor?
Just don't try to please.
So this is my chocolate shake and glasses. I went to my car, grabbed it.
Wait, it's not mine. Oh, yeah. It's my first time.
First time election.
Alright, let's say go once, twice.
Hey, how are you?
No, oh, it is not. Okay. Oh, okay. It's not eight. Okay. We got this.
Oh, how many members are we up to now? There's like a lot of us.
We are up to 16 members.
There's still some out
We
there.
got like, yeah, 20.
Listen, I've told all 5 of my classes.
Good.
That's a gift. Get the word out. It's your voice. Make it heard.
I'm working on a lot of people in my political comm class. They're a little timid, but I'm working on them.
I have Immigration to America.
Nice. It's good candidates for this, yeah.
Yes.
I feel nervous.
No, stop it.
You nervous?
If I had to talk, I would not.
You do.
No, I think it's
Where were you the first meeting?
I couldn't make it.
I was really counting on you being here.
I'm sorry. I'm here now though.
I know. Better late than never, right? I was, if you didn't notice.
I asked anybody if they wanted to come and vote that we can forward to.
Really? What were you trying to film?
No, it's a film. I wasn't able to, I had something to do that.
Oh, okay.
But I made sure I was like, this next one will take us good for.
Yeah. We appreciate you being here.
They're counting the ballots. Maybe a few will not stuck together.
Wait, did they leave in here? Is that what happened?
Yes, they're not in it.
Oh.
That's why they're missing.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what was going on.
I'm just asking you
You see her rambling, that ramble wasn't She went off her script and started rambling.
I did. I went off of my speech. I don't know where, but it's important.
After a person, oh, that's the, so, Joe knows that. So, Matthew Jakes, having received the majority of votes cast, is hereby declared to have been elected to the office of Secretary for a term of 1 year beginning September 15th, 2022. And I will yield the floor over to Matthew Jakes for some remarks.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for electing me, and I promise that I'll always do the best interest for this office and each and every one of you and our entire school. Thank you.
All right. With that, I would have a motion to adjourn. I saw Sharon. Can I get a second? Crystal Figueroa. Any abstentions? All in favor? Aye. All right, meeting adjourned.
Call to order the meeting of September 14, 2022 for the student community government, student parliament. Diane, please do roll call.
Matthew Thureson.
Present.
President Morales. Present. Matthew Jakes.
Present.
Bafio Bobby. Present. James Torres.
Present.
Thomas Pura.
Present.
Crystal Figueroa. Present. Pierce Mott.
Present.
Sharon Brower.
Here.
Bomba Savali. Janaya Vanover. Present. Holly Beth Despines.
Present.
April Dagnall. Present. Lee Lucy Yu. Frank Costello.
Present.
Christian Chivon.
Present.
Dr. Valerie Andrus.
Present.
Mr. Arthur Crabtree.
Present.
Ms. Darcy Dubois.
Present.
I'd like to get a motion to approve the agenda. Thomas Fura.
Oh, can I make a motion to amend the agenda before we do that?
Motion to approve the,
Yeah, I'd like to amend the agenda to change Secretary TBD to Secretary Matthew Jakes.
do I have a second? Ashley Morales. Any discussions? All in favor? All opposed? Any abstentions? Moving on to the next item on the agenda. Motion to approve the amended agenda. Mr. Morales, Mr. Schuman. Mr. last name? Bowers. Mr. Bowers, seconds it. Motion passed. Can I get a motion for the approval of the minutes? Mr. Morales, any discussions? All in favor? And all opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passed. Now, leave the open forum. Nobody's here for open forum. Okay, officers announcements. I pass the floor to Mr. Matthew Thureson.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thanks again for joining us. Good to see all of you. I'd like to, extend my congratulations to our new secretary. Really excited to kind of work with you as getting acquainted. I'd also like to remind everyone that might have written in for any of the cabinet positions that I will be sending out interview invites for those very shortly. I was just waiting to have the election first so that I wasn't inviting the future secretary to run for a position. So that those invites are incoming. And let me know if you have any questions about any of them. Also, class elections are going to be coming up. The declaration period starts next week. So we are going, next week. So we're going to be sending out an advertising campaign over the next week or so. And then the elections are going to happen towards the end of September, early October, and those dates will be forthcoming, but that will be kind of blasted all over campus. We already have a few positions already seated, so we have almost all the junior class seated, but like for example, the senior class only has a president, sophomore class doesn't have anyone elected, so those are the ones that we're kind of filling in. And of course, we also have to do the first year students because those were not here when we did elections in the spring. So all of that is happening very soon. So that is it for my announcements. I will yield the floor back to James.
Now we'll hear from Vice President Ashley Flowers.
Hi guys, good evening. I was going to say afternoon, but it's not the noon. I wish it was, but it's not. It's nighttime. Thank you to everybody who placed their candidacy for secretary, and congratulations to Matthew Chase on your new position. Not kind of to go over with the elections, but I wanted to let you guys know elections have been pushed back, so those are your class elections. So junior class, I believe sophomore class, freshman class, of course, like he said, we gotta get our freshmen in because they weren't here during the spring. What else? Oh, I'm so excited. We have, I believe, 3 petitions out right now, so that's very exciting. We're up to 18 members officially. So yes, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you guys for all your efforts in recruiting. I know James has been out there, even Sharon's been out there, Christian's been out there, everybody, Matthew's been out there. Everybody's, giving in their efforts. So thank you. It's not going unseen, and I'm super excited. So thank you again. I will pass it back to the speaker.
At this moment, we'll hear from the new secretary, Matthew James.
Thank you, James. Hey, everyone, thank you again for electing me. I'd also like to quickly address that that would like all the new Parliament members that join committees, the Student Organizations Committee in particular. We're looking for many new members so we can begin our work. Thank you. Yield the floor.
At this moment, we will hear from Treasurer Fatia Obadu.
Hello, everyone. I'm Fatia. I'm the treasurer. Announcement. So I just want to let everyone know it's just like an open area for us to hear those student issues, and that I've not been happening for a while. So we hopefully to get back so you guys can share your voice and know, so we can know exactly what is beginning with that problem. So I think Parliament should be more of debating and figuring exactly what the issues is, and we are so close to getting there. I just want that to be we back of your mind that you can come here and tell us anything you want to tell us about student issues and kind of that's what we're here for. That's what. You need to fall back to James.
At this moment, I'll make my announcement. I'm just making an announcement that Ms. Lucy Hu is absent because she had family issues today. Can I get a motion to approve from Mr. Fuera, Ms. Morales? Any discussions? All in favor? Any all opposed? Any abstentions? Leave is passed. I don't really have anything to say. Guys, it's going really well. I'm glad. I'm so happy for everybody. I know the old guy here, but I'm so proud of everybody. The speeches that all 3, the lady and the 2 gentlemen made, a great job on it. Just gonna get to work soon. We have a lot of work ahead of us as our advisors. We're gonna do great things together, right? At this time, I'd like to yield the floor to the Deputy Speaker, Thomas Fiora.
Hello guys, really happy that we have 16 members. 2 years ago I was sitting in a Zoom call and I was probably the only non-executive board member. And to see 16 people here, that's crazy. I'm just simply amazed. I'm so happy it's finally getting back into person after 2 years of just COVID this, COVID that. It feels great to be back, and I just want to let you guys know we're currently working on a student discount card that is kind of going to let everyone know about SCG, and we're currently in the works. I'm trying to figure all that out. Hopefully by the end of this semester it will be set in stone, and yeah, that's basically all I got to say.
Call for a motion for the next agenda for pass before the
Thank you, everybody. So yes, I wanted to do an update for our old business on our basically our standing with our essentially our funding, which I know all of you kind of have been wondering about. So I'd like to happily report that we did have a very successful meeting with Darcy, Dean of Students Darcy, and also the President of the college, and some other representatives, and very successful. And essentially they are kind of reverting back some of those funds, and we're working on them with some of the specifics there to make sure that all of the parties are mutually benefited from from what's going on. So if you have any questions about that, please feel free to let me know. But good news is clubs are able to now come in and request funding pretty much unlimitedly, so they can have whatever events they want until their heart's content, and we don't really have to worry about having any earmarked funds that we can't access. So this really gives us a really cool start going into this year. We can do a whole lot of programming for these boards, and obviously enable them to do a lot of the programming themselves. So it's really exciting, and I'm sure some of us will have some things to add. But yeah, that was my update on the current situation. I'll yield back.
Dr. Henderson, do you have any faculty updates?
Yes, I do, but I have a question for Matt to begin with.
Yeah.
Isn't there supposed to be, and what triggered this is that you were talking to the Dean of Students, isn't there supposed to be a representative here from Student Success that attends the Parliament meetings?
Yes. Yep. So traditionally, it's either the Dean of Students has a seat, and then additionally there's an administrator seat, so that can be any administrator on campus. So Darcy's here kind of like virtually right now, so I'm just kind of twisting her around as we go. So yeah.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Do you want me to move into the faculty announcements? Okay. Just a couple of things. I'm singularly focused on getting you folks on council committees, the Rhode Island Council, in which I'm chair. And so I'm going to be meeting with Matt, and we'll be talking about that and get you going and get you up to speed for that. Also, I was just attending a meeting of the Rhode Island College Foundation, and that's the major fundraising arm of the college. And President Warner gave a presentation there, and one of the things that he has in mind, I thought you folks would be interested in, is that we have all these beautiful buildings on campus, but what he wants to do is begin a fundraising with alumni and with the foundation to beautify other places on campus. And he was talking about the campus entrances, because that matters when people are coming here to see if they want to come to the school. And he was talking about finally maybe getting rid of the cement block and having a quad like other places do, with trees and a little bit of rolling hills and things like that. That can be really useful. So he thinks that's a missing piece. He said that he believes this is a beautiful campus, and it's always good to hear that from somebody who's new here and through their eyes. And I do believe he's right, and particularly this time of the year, it's gorgeous. But there's always room for improvement. And I also, I have another hat that I am director of the American Democracy Project on campus, which is a political engagement organization. And I wanted to just announce very briefly 3 events that we have coming up in November. And one is on November 3rd, Rhode Island College is co-sponsoring with NBC 10 televised and recorded debates. And also part of that is that RIC students will be conducting citizen focus groups after the debates to see what the citizens had to say about this. And then we The students work on a press release that goes out the next day to members of the media. And so we're really going to invite, and we do separate focus groups for the RIC students so we can compare them to the older folks who show up to the debate. And that's always a really interesting analysis to find out what you folks think and what they think. So that'll be coming up, and it's the only, there'll be other debates on campus, but this is the only one where they're doing more than just renting space. They invest in RIC students and in the college by doing this. Another one, a program that we have on November 8th is a film screening and panel, and the film is called No Time to Fail, which is an award-winning documentary about election workers and the importance of that. And we saw that in the last election when election workers were on the line for validating elections and things like that. It's actually a brave act. So we'll have that, and students are certainly invited to that. There's a reception, which you're certainly invited to. We always have good food, and a film viewing and a panel discussion. And the third one is that we're doing a panel, it's actually a dual panel, that's on gun violence, that's called Listen to Our Stories and then Listen to Our Plans for Change. And that one is in the morning. We're going to have about 200 to 300 high school students here, but we're reserving seats for RIC students as well. And we'll have people talking about their experience with gun violence and what it has meant to them, whether that's drills in the high school or a direct confrontation with gun violence. And that will be thrown out to the audience for their responses as well. We have, we probably will bring back, they were here a couple of years ago, the Parkland students who went through shooting in Florida. And they're just amazing people. We'll bring in somebody from the Providence Student Union, and so we'll have representation with youth throughout Rhode Island for that program. And generally with those programs, we fill the auditorium, so there's a lot of energy. We'll be in Sevensley Hall. Then in the evening, we're doing a program where we're inviting social movement leaders and student leaders who are focused on ending gun violence. And that's where we get into the part of listen to our plans for change. And RIC students, again, are certainly invited. There'll also be a choral concert, Teresa Coughlin. There'll be a combination of a panel discussion, a choral concert, and it will also be a fundraiser for Maya's Fund, which is, if some of you remember, last year that Michelle Rivera's daughter was killed in a drive-by shooting. And so this is a fundraiser that also benefits RIC students as well. So that's what we have on tap for the fall. We'll have more in the spring.
I have a question. For the dual panel that speaks about gun violence, do you guys have a date for that just yet?
Yes, we do. It's November 14th. And we'll have lots of announcements out. And because we really want RIC students to be there.
At this time, I'd like to give the floor to Mr. Arthur Patrick.
Yes. Thank you. My thanks to everyone that ran for secretary. I don't know how I could have voted. So, to the winners, to future secretaries, congratulations. To the rest of the membership and representatives, I share what was said earlier. It is exciting to see a bunch of people here. It really is. A lot has been done by SCG to a lot of necessary things have been done, and there's more to be done in the future. And the more folks you have to help, the better it is to get it done, and the more representative. Last but not least, I have to send a personal thanks to our colleague, Dr. Andrus. For as long as I've known her, she's been putting together projects, opportunities, events, activities that include the students. If you guys if you didn't make any notes on what she has coming up, perhaps at a certain point you'd be able to send a communication to Matt, and if the president could send it out. We really need to get the word out. And what she's doing with the American Democracy Project and these other things are right in the same lane as what SCG is doing. So it's another opportunity maybe to recruit. Even if you don't net anyone, somebody might find it very enjoyable and relevant. Thank you for the opportunity to share that.
This time I'll give the floor to the Dean of Students, Darcy Dumont.
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I just thank you so much for allowing me a little bit of flexibility so that I can be at your meeting. I wanted to say that I am so proud of all of you. I'm so excited with all that you've put in, and look at all the members. And I just want to give a shout out to all of you that have been really recruiting. And Matt was up there with me during orientation, recruiting all those new and transfer students to Parliament. So I just want to say a really good job for that. Welcome weeks are really going well. We are in our third week. Please make sure to continue to promote all those activities. We've really made an extra effort this year to not only have one welcome week of programming, but 6. We want our new community members to really feel welcome to RIC. So if you could continue to promote and attend those events, that would be awesome. Big shout out today to all the clubs and orgs. The activities fair today was absolutely amazing. The energy was incredible. I know you must have all felt it. I know a lot of you were there, so just want to give an extra shout out for that. And then, as Matt said, we had a great meeting with the president, and he agreed to give you all your fall fees, for all the clubs and orgs this year, which is really exciting. So I just want to say great job, because obviously your hard work is really paying off.
Thank you, Dean of Students, Dumont. Appointments.
Hello, everyone. Last order of business for tonight are my appointments, resignations, and vacancies. We do have one resignation from Amina, who could not do Parliament after she initially thought she could, but due to a scheduling conflict is no longer able to. So I wanted to announce that. In addition, I wanted to make several appointments, so bear with me as we go down. Obviously, for the SCG committees, as long as I'm appointing you to them, but my appointments to the college committees will be kind of in conjunction with Dr. Andrus's. So this is my recommendation to her for those committees. And people that are interested in them. So for the first, it's bylaws adjudication, and currently there are 3 members. We are appointing Crystal Figueroa and Carlos De Leon to bylaws adjudication. For elections commission, we are adding Sharon Brower. In addition to that, we are adding Crystal Figueroa. Appointing, keep saying adding. For finance commission, we are appointing Pierce Mott, April, how do you say your last name? Daniel. Okay. And Bamba Savali to finance commission. For public relations committee, we are appointing Lucy Hu, Janaya Manover, and Crystal Figueroa. For student organizations committee, Matthew Jakes is the new chair, so we are appointing Pierce Mott into student organizations committee. That's the final SCG committee. For the college and council committees, myself and Fatia are serving on the council of Rhode Island College, which is kind of that main council. For the academic integrity board, I'm recommending Sharon Brower to serve there for a 1-year term. For the Academic Technology Advisory Committee, I'm recommending Pierce Mott. For the Committee on Online Learning, I'm recommending April. And that was the last one I have. Thank you.
At this moment, have any issues of Parliament members? Speak now. Ask a question.
So issues of government doesn't mean like anything bad, it just is your chance to like speak up and announce things. So I'm going to announce a couple of things going on this week. So first of all, thank you to the new appointments added towards the PR committee and the election commission. We are still requiring new members to join. So if you guys want to join, if you guys know somebody, they don't always have to be a student parliament member to join. So just let them know they can join our committees and commissions without having to join our student parliament. I wanted to say thank you for the RIC Cella. I don't know, I have some flyers here. LASSO, I'm a part of LASSO, Latin American Student Organization. We're having kind of like a round table discussion. Essentially, it's going to be in the student ballroom. It's tomorrow at 2 p.m. We're going to be catered by Donovan Diamond Center. So thank you, Arthur, again for my last Yes. So make sure you guys also submit your like food requests ahead of time. Don't be last minute like me. I apologize. So please be better prepared. But we're going to be there. It's going to be really fun. We're going to have good cultural topics and discussions. And I'm super excited. I unfortunately can't go because I'm working, but I'm really excited for everybody else to be there and participate. Also, we will be having a yoga at night. It's going to be out in the quad the same day with Lasso. It's going to be at 6 to 8 p.m. So bring your own yoga mats. They will not be provided. And the cement is very hard. So we don't want that. Another thing, so I'm also part of AMA, so American Marketing Association. We are actually teaming up with the RIC Student Leadership in co-sponsorship with one of it's Student Organization Leader Success Series. They're doing a bunch of series throughout this whole school year just to help give you some trainings and some help with your events and your organizations. So definitely keep an eye out for their events that are coming up. I know that with the one from AMAs in particular, we're going to be talking about marketing your organization. So essentially getting your presence out on campus. If you have your event, what do you do now? So essentially just learning how to do that, get your voice heard with your event, and learn some social media tips and things like that. So keep an eye out for that. We had the flyer, but we have to change the date. Unfortunately, it was originally for September 27th, but now the date has been denied, taken out. So now we're going to rechange it. So keep an eye out. Thank you again for your time and get home safe. Good night.
Anybody else have anything to say? So at this moment, I'd like to put out a couple of things. SBA as a president of Student Leaders of America on campus. We have a couple of events coming up. We're hosting a Game of Thrones here in the ballroom, which will be starting next week on the 8th, from 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. So everybody will welcome. We got flyers posted up and stuff like that soon. There's also a rock painting event that will be coming soon. And I'll push that information forward to somebody so we can distribute that out. As well as we have a flyer posted up on campus as well where our vice president is doing hikes off campus. So if you're interested in that, reach out to either myself or anybody that you know for the Student Leaders of America. That's all I have. Oh, one more thing, I'm sorry. We also, if anybody knows anybody interested, I need one more member for the Bylaws and Adjudications Commission, a non-parliament member, and we will be full. All right, thank you. Can I get a motion for the adjournment? Riley? Power? Any discussions? All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
I am joined by President Thureson of Student Community Government. You had some good news. Do you want to talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, thank you everybody for kind of tuning in. So we do have some good news. I reported to Parliament today that we got our fall deposit back for the for the student activity fee. So as some of you may know, we did have the funds withdrawn, and the good news is we have the fall reinstated. So essentially a little bit more than half of that money is back in the account, which means students are pretty much able to do whatever they need to with programming this semester. So they could come up to the office and do allocation requests and have that not be an issue, obviously within reason, and versus before we did have to be pretty stringent on what we were allowing. So really happy to report that, and really excited for all of the events that are going to be happening on campus. It's just so cool seeing everybody out on the quad. We just had student activities fair today at 12, so it was really cool seeing everybody there.
I gotta ask, so what does this mean for the spring?
This means, you mean the money coming back? Yeah, so this is definitely a good thing for the spring. So right now, the situation before that came back was that we were pretty much okay for the fall, but we would be absolutely short by the time the spring was over. Now with this coming in, we're at the point where we will be set for the budget for the entire year, and there is still a little bit of a cushion for students to come up and request additional funding for both semesters. So that's the fall and the spring semester. So that's really exciting news. Obviously, that's within reason. So if you come up requesting $100,000, you probably won't get approved, but obviously, definitely more accepting than it was before.
Speaking of requests, I'm only going to use these two organizations as an example because the cuts were kind of big. The Anchor newspaper got $8,000 cut from its last year budget, and Anchor TV, it was about $2,000. So what would this mean for two of those organizations, for example?
Yeah, so, couldn't comment on anything specifically, but I would say for those two, they could come back up to Finance Commission now that they have the ability to, now that we have the ability to actually hand out more money, being fiscally responsible. Before we could give it to you, but we wouldn't know that we would actually have it in the future, so we risked going into the red. So I would encourage those two organizations to then come to Finance next Wednesday, actually 2 Wednesdays from now, the 28th, and kind of re-request as much allocations as they can.
Okay. One thing I remember us talking about last school year was the PEC committee, President Executive Council. What's the update on that?
Yeah, so the PEC is traditionally something that is the two organizations, so the college and SCG, they meet together. So the President's Executive Council being the president of the colleges and mine, we are going to be reinstating that. We're going to be having a luncheon with all of us coming up later in the month. And then we hope to do kind of weekly or bi-weekly meetings with members of the administration and the SCG team just to kind of reintroduce that kind of mutual beneficial relationship that we've been trying to foster, but it has been a little bit of a struggle in the past few years. So we're going to try to reinstate that. So yeah, look out for a luncheon with SCG and the administration coming up later this month.
So just so I have it correct, they do want to have these meetings again?
Correct, yeah. So I have my meeting, I have a one-on-one with the president of the college. President of the college didn't want to kind of, open that up to kind of like everyone, just because obviously he's got, a busy schedule, but he did appoint essentially a group of administrators to do that job essentially. So we're going to be meeting as a group with them on a more weekly bi-weekly basis, but then I also have my monthly one-on-ones with the president where I can kind of bring up those big or hot button issues that are either super pressing or super influential to the student body.
And you know what I'm going about to ask, speaking of hot button issues, the funding itself though, I understand that we have the money for the fall, the spring kind of looks good based on what you're saying, but the funding itself, is it still frozen? What's going on with that?
So no, so they released the fall. So essentially, the students that just registered and just paid the student activity fee, they released that. Okay. So that's what they were essentially. The timing worked out because ad drop just happened on Monday and our meeting was on Thursday. So they're waiting until this week to do that because that's when the official numbers of who's going to be enrolled are confirmed. So they're going to be releasing that deposit this week.
And moving forward, is it going to be unfrozen too, or is that still pending?
So they're still holding the spring. So the spring from this year is what they're still holding as we figure out kind of the more nitty-gritty details of what's going on, which we're kind of working out as we go. We're waiting to hear back from them with an official operating agreement on what that relationship would look like with the college. We think right now that that has something to do with them wanting some oversight over the employees of SCG.
And I hate to be an armchair quarterback, but this has never happened before. And the request that President Sanchez had to have 20-something members, it never was 20-something members. Now you're at 16, but it still seems like an arbitrary reason. I know Dr. Warner, like you just said, has a little bit of a different motivation. So is it just the oversight? What's the holdup? There has to be a reason they're dragging their feet.
So it's the oversight, and they also are looking for some kind of reworking of the 501c3 relationship, not obviously unincorporating, because you can't really unincorporate something. It's federal law with the IRS, but that's a tricky thing. But they're looking at some kind of looking at the language there in terms of what the relationship is now with SCG, and right now, they see us as a dependent party versus an independent party. So that's kind of the language that they want to work out and put into some kind of agreement.
I'm going to end on a little bit of a positive note because we kind of just talked about some of the top issues facing SCG and how that affects student life. You've seen with the budget cuts that are happening with all the organizations. But on the bright side, Student Activities Day was packed.
Yes.
We were here during 2020 when it was Zoom call, and then 2021 hybrid with mask or no mask, depending on who said it. But now it looks like how it did 2019. Your thoughts on how today went with that?
I thought, again, really, really well. It was probably a few hundred students out there, like elbow to elbow at all those tables. It was really cool to see. I hadn't seen that since probably 2019, like fall.
Like doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, like fall 2019, I think. So it was wild. It was really cool to see, and SCG was kind of there. We did an event like guessing how many Jolly Ranchers were in a bucket, and we did figure out somebody came within 5, which was really impressive. The real number was 425, and so that was very cool. So yeah, it was really cool seeing everybody back out there.
And there was a lot of people in here, too, for this Parliament meeting. 16. I've been covering the Parliament meetings for over one academic year, and I've never seen 16. That was very encouraging, combined with Student Activities Day today. So what's the expectation going forward, and what's your goals?
Yeah, good question. So, I mean, expectation, it's really a testament to just the work of everyone. So, over the summer, we with orientation, we put so much work into kind of saturating that market with all the new students learning about what SCG actually is. So they got speeches from me as the president. They got a little bit of Darcy. They got this in the services fair. I was talking to them. So and we gave away goodie bags that all of us put together. So it was a kind of a joint effort, kind of getting them to know like actually what SCG is, right? And then going forward, I think we want to keep up that momentum. We want to look at like what can we do to get to students that maybe traditionally wouldn't be a part of SCG or wouldn't know about it at all, because that's, again, I say as a broken record, like the main problem about SCG is that nobody really knows it exists. People know they have to come to us for funding, but they don't really know what we do. So I think, obviously videotaping these meetings is really helpful, but also, getting out there and getting on the ground with people is really helpful as well.
I don't blame you. We're having same issues with the Anchor newspaper. A lot of people don't know we exist, but we are there. And just getting the fact that we exist out there is a key component, and that could fix half the problems. Just final thing I want to ask, is there anything I missed or something coming up that you want to announce to the viewers or readers in the Anchor's case?
I think it would just be class elections. I mean, I mentioned it during the meeting, but class elections are going to be coming up. Declaration period starts next week. We're going to be advertising this week, so please, let your friends know about that. Emails are going to be going out from Darcy's office, the Dean of Students office, so that will be helpful as well. It'll be right in your inbox, and then we'll try to saturate, flyers all around Donovan and, student unions, so should be out there.
President Thureson, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Raymond.